get Mark on, like, on camera. Awesome. Awesome. Cool. We're live? Awesome. Metal Summoners, we are super duper stoked to be coming at you live right now from Rockin' Pod in Nashville. We're going to jump right into it because time is precious, time is valuable, and we are all about it. Myself, Jay, we've got Angel, and we are super stoked to get it going with you today with our first interview. That is Mr. Mark Andrews from Seduce. Sir, thank you so much.
Wait, thank you for having me, I guess.
Absolutely. We are super stoked to have you, man. So first and foremost, how was the trip in?
Well, I live in Nashville.
So, cool.
So it was about 20 minutes.
Nice.
It's a little traffic, but that's Nashville now.
Absolutely, 100%. So you played last night at the pre-party and stuff. You said the tone wasn't quite to your liking, but just overall, how did it feel to be on the stage playing for the fans?
Well, it was great because I know Jason Hartless from Ted Nugent. Actually, his father runs our record company, and I played with Jeremy a few times, but it was cool, I didn't know how they'd be able to do the Seduce song that we played, but they did it well.
Nice, absolutely.
It was fun.
For sure, man.
And the bass tone was all right, but it just wasn't my bass tone.
Right, exactly. That's all I meant was not quite to your liking, but definitely didn't make it bad.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because like I said right before we went live, like I was there, I watched it, I was down for the sound, dude. You definitely projected well.
It's all about fun, anyways. It's like that's what it is. And being a professional, you learn to deal with it and you go through it.
Absolutely, 100%. So, talk a little bit about what you've got going on right now. Seduce, of course, is still very active, but what other projects are you involved in?
Well, actually, I moved here 7 years ago from California. And now that I'm in Nashville, we're closer to Detroit, so there's a resurgence of Seduce. So now we go up there and I play a couple shows a year. COVID kind of messed that up a bit.
Sure.
But like I said, now that I'm closer, I never thought I'd be playing Seduce again.
Yeah.
And I did some things out in California with Robin Zander and stuff like that. And I came to Nashville and I found a new love for rockabilly. So now I play upright bass with all the slapping and all that stuff like that, and I really enjoy doing that. And then, just trying to get into a band around here, but Nashville doesn't really have that many bands. Everybody's, a single artist.
Right.
And so I'm like a hired gun. I go play with people like that, but it's weird for me. I've been playing originals for like 30 years, and now I'm learning like Leonard Skinner songs and stuff like that again.
Right.
But it's all about playing and having fun. Yeah.
Absolutely, for sure. And what is it about? Just because we're also gear nerds, talk a little bit about the transition from standard electric bass to stand-up bass for you.
Well, I had an upright bass for a guy in the 80s. Said, I got a bass for you. I said, okay, we'll bring it over. And he's got this upright. I'm like, man, I've never even thought about playing upright. And I said, well, I'll buy it from you, whatever like that. And I bought it. And it sat around in the corner because it's a cool old bass like that. But I found a new, I never paid that much attention to it. But Lee Rocker stayed with us in California because we had a bed and breakfast. And all day long, he's up my butt. I'll give you $500 for it. I'll give you $500 like that. So I checked into it. It's a 1939K, highly collectible.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm like, I'm taking care of this thing now. I came to Nashville, and Randy Hunt, who was like a great luthier, hooked it all up for me like that. And I really enjoy the challenges of playing it. So now I'm pretty good with the slaps and stuff like that. So I've been getting into like a darker, heavier metal rockabilly kind of thing like that. Writing songs that way and stuff like that. But gear-wise, like you said, electric bass, I'm a dinosaur. I still have all my Ampegs and all that stuff like that. And it's like nobody even uses that stuff anymore. But the challenge for the upright bass is electrifying it, because they feed back. You got to use your feet, your legs and stuff to hold it and stuff like that. And getting a good sound for that to project well, So nerd-wise, equipment, I don't know. I challenge myself with everything.
Absolutely, yeah. 100%. Angel, why don't you get in here and make sure you're speaking up as well?
Yeah, coming to Nashville, what has the transition been like from going to California to Nashville? Because now it seems a lot of musicians have gone from either New York, California, they're all coming down here to Nashville. So what has been like?
I actually feel like, not like that I'm retired, because I still love to play. I still play every day. But as far as like getting in a van and touring the country for no money and promoting yourself like that, I'm kind of over that. But the transitions like California, not to sound weird, but people are very pretentious, and you're dealing with tons of people for auditions and stuff like that. But Nashville, everybody helps each other out, very friendly. There's a vibe, and I mean, I've been here 7 years, and I haven't seen a bad musician. You know, it's like, even though it might be a different style, you can still appreciate talent. You know, and if you're a tourist, you go to Broadway and you see all that stuff like that. But Nashville's like a wheel. Downtown is like the cog, and there's little spokes going to different areas that are happening in its own sense. Great camaraderie of musicianship here, and you know, I just love the people. Everything's great, and the cost. California, you know, it's like, yeah, our electric bill is $1,500 a month. You know, here it's a lot cheaper. You know.
So, with the bass, do you prefer playing the 4-string, 5-string, or
Gosh,
6?
I guess I'm a hoarder. I have 5 strings. I got 8 strings. I got a 12 string. I got 65, 66 Fender P basses. I'm a Fender guy, and 4 strings is my thing. But you need the arsenal of different things like 5 strings, things like that. You know, but mainly on stage 4 string. I got my beaters that I play on stage, and I got my nice ones. You know, but if that answers your question.
No, it does.
You know,
So like a guitar player, you know, it's always the 6-string, but with the bass, it's always curious.
Well, my thing, like Seduce is a 3-piece, so I'm not like a traditional bass player in a sense, like, you know, just a little doom, 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 doom. I mean, I run 2 setups, like a distorted overdrive setup with a thick low end, and I play a lot of chords, things like that to make up for the rhythm guitar, you know, like that. And it's like, basically, it's more about tone than 4 or 5 string to cover that spectrum, you know.
What was the very first bass that you got?
Gosh, I remember a friend of mine had a guitar. I was never even thinking about playing, and this was like 12, 13. And he said, you should get a bass. And that was before the you know, guitar centers and the Sam Ashes and stuff like that. So there was just like mom and pop stores. And I used to walk by this one store, Massimitos in Detroit, and they had a bass in the window, but I couldn't afford it. So I ended up getting a guitar first and was playing bass on guitar like that. But I think my first bass, really good bass, was a Gibson EVO or EV3 I had, you know, but it was a short scale. And that was like my first bass I really ever had, the good bass, you know. But, you know, over the years, I've had so many, and it's like I look at pictures like, damn, I wish I still had that if I would have known the prices, what they have gone up to. But as a rule, I'm a Fender guy.
Very cool, absolutely. So we had talked off the air for a brief second about the fact that Angel and I had the privilege of interviewing Penelope Spheeris when she was doing the Wayne's World. What was it, the 30-year anniversary?
Yeah,
I think
30-year
anniversary of the first Wayne's World. And of course, you're familiar with him from Seduce, being featured on The Decline of Western Civilization. You're also on the panel for The Decline of Western Civilization as well. What do you remember about that experience, being so young and kind of being featured in a documentary film like that?
Gosh, you know, at the time, IRS was our record company, and had like a metal division. And basically, Miles Copeland told Penelope he wanted one of his bands from the metal division in the movie. And I don't know exactly what she told the other bands, but what we did, I said, well, what a better way than we had a guy that did a lot of videos, came to our house, and we acted like it was her coming to our house. At that time, it was a band house, all our crew, everybody lived together. We were just like a family, and, you know, and we just walked her through the house and just, you know, interviewed us that way, and she dug it, and that's how we got picked for the movie.
Nice.
And it was life-changing. You know, and it's like to be into like that. But the weird thing of it was, I thought was, as far as the metal years, at that point, we've been touring around New York, you know, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, all the places like that. There's scenes in every city that are metal. I thought the movie should have did that and went to different, like New York, different places that got that aspect of it, other than just going to your local bar in LA and interviewing everybody, you know. So,
Sure.
Like you're saying, when the movie came out, everybody knew everybody in the movie. You know, there's a lot of famous people, you know, Aerosmith and Lemmy and all the people in the movie, but like the LA bands, when Seduce came up, they're like, who the hell are these guys? Because nobody really knew us at that point, you know. And I guess we got good results from it because everybody said you guys came off like real people,
Yeah.
you know, in the movie, you know, and it was very thankful to do it. And Penelope and I talked after, you know, we filmed that like that. And I sent her stuff and different things like that. And, you know, I haven't seen her since, but it was kind of cool. And ironically, in the movie, it was like one of our first times being in LA. The movie company picked us up from the airport, and us being car guys from Detroit, you know, like, oh, look at that car, look at that car, look at that. So you guys really like cars, huh? Because we all always had cars, we restore them, do different things like that. So they took us to a big parking lot that had all movie cars, and we got to pick our cars for the movie for the interview part.
Nice.
And it was cool because David and Chuck had to turn their cars in after the shoot, but my odometer didn't work on that 56 Cadillac I had, so I got to keep it for like 2 weeks. So I was cruising that thing all around LA, like pissing people off on Mulholland Drive because I'm just like, there's Porsches trying to get around me and stuff like that. It was a good time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And of course, one of the main things that a lot of people do remember when it comes to you guys being in that movie is David's confidence that came across in that movie about, you know, you guys being the best band out of Detroit and stuff on a hill that came across that he was willing to die on that hill for that belief. What was it about that time and having that belief and feeling of, you know what, we need this confidence in our own band so that people will want to be interested in us?
Well, we kind of changed the scene in Detroit. I mean, basically, in them days, you played 4 sets a night, and you know you played Thursday through Sunday, and we changed all that stuff, having opening acts and the volume of playing originals and stuff like that. But we busted our ass, man, and it's like we got to that point like where, you know, like he said, who's the best band in Detroit? This is us. I mean, we had the biggest draw. We had the most people come see us. We got to the point where, well, I play Thursday, Friday, and Saturday when people have the option to come see us either 3 days. We said, hell, we'll play Saturday night, only night, and everybody comes that night, and we get paid the same for the 3 nights. You know, we did that kind of thing, and just changed that whole thing. And man, we bust our ass. And nobody, like I said, we lived in a band house. I handled all the money. Nobody's seen any money. I paid the bills, strings, sticks, guitars, fed everybody, and you got like a little $50 per diem or something like that, you know, a week. And we were an organization, man. We were fucking, you know, a tribe that just went out there and busted our ass. And we'd go out to New York and do showcases and come back, make money in Detroit, and go back out and do our showcases and do what we could. And it was, you know, that's what we lived for. It wasn't like just, okay, I'm playing on the weekend and I'm working my day job throughout the week, you know. Absolutely. And I guess that kind of, over the years of doing that, like David's confidence, and, you know, very intelligent, you know, very shy kind of guy. You don't really talk to many people like that, but, you know, he's very good as far as like how he thinks and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Well, Mark, we have you for a couple of minutes left in our segment. I'm going to kick it over to Angel to bring us home with the final question.
I got the signal about the 2 minutes.
Got the signal? No worries.
So, yeah, thank you again. There's a time.
Of course.
We're on a short time constraint, so definitely
I'll
let you go to your next.
Yeah. Well, Mark, thank you so much,
thank
brother.
you, Jay.
Have an amazing weekend,
Thank
and
you,
we
Angel.
can't wait to...
Can we take a
Absolutely. You got to take us offline first, buddy. Thank you so much, Mark, and we look forward to it. Have a great weekend.
Okay, man. Thank you.